Sasky, how you doing? I'm doing awesome. I'm so happy to have you on the show. It's been a long time coming,
Yeah,
actually.
I know.
How
So
have you been? How have you been? How's it going?
yeah, I'm doing good. It's a new year, so just trying to chase all the
Yeah.
all the goals for the year.
I was gonna ask you about that. Like how did you spend your
Yeah.
dirty December?
Yeah, I mean, I was in
December
Toronto,
was
so
clean.
it was
Yeah, it was
clean,
very
right?
clean. I heard it was
It's only
very
when you
clean
go
in
back
Toronto.
home.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, oh
yeah.
yeah, oh yeah.
But do you plan to come home for this coming dirty December? Let's start making plans so we can book you ahead because you don't say that you did hot.
I mean, so it all depends because my family is
Right.
back home and I'm trying to move them over here, right? So like them coming, it's gonna be tricky. But I'm actually
Right.
traveling to Nigeria in like a week. So over the weekend, yeah. So some family stuff came up. Lost my
So
dad,
if
so
I
we
did
have to go
not
bury him.
if we didn't have this interview now, that's why you're not gonna tell us your fans. Say, but it's funny though because February is like Valentine's season, so you can still catch like all the ships and the lovers and the Valentine cruise. Nigerians love their Valentine's Day, man. Like it's a
They
whole
don't play.
event. We don't play about it. So
There's
you
always
can
red
still
and white.
there's always something, so you can definitely still like catch that same fog, right? If you want to.
Yeah,
Anyway, it's nice to have you on the show. We're not here to talk about Valentine's
yeah,
Day or Nigerian events,
yeah,
and my condolences on your father, by the way. Were
yeah.
you
Thank you.
what? How many siblings do you have?
I just one, my elder brother, so
Oh, so
like
just two of
close
you.
circle. Yeah,
I see. It must hurt
yeah,
even extra.
yeah. I know.
Oh, my condolences.
Yeah,
But let me
thank you.
try and turn your frown upside down. You're already smiling, so I'm very happy at least I'm putting a
Yeah,
smile on your face. You're
yeah,
welcome to the show here on The Analyst. Obviously, as you know, we like to talk about music business. So want to get to
yep.
know you from the music business side of things, right? So the man, the legend, the icon that is Sasky Mali. Tell us a little bit about you. And when I say a little bit, I mean a lot. by little, by little bit is a lot. Tell me about first of all the name Sasky Mali, the origin story, why you decided that music is where you want to find your or express your own creative energy, right? Because I
Yeah,
found out that people who are in the music industry, if you check very well, there's a lot of things that they're doing. It's just that music is like their own way of expression. And I see you
yeah,
also do that with like, because I saw on your website, I saw like creative control. I know you do
yeah,
DJ. Know that the
yeah,
vibe that you're going with for your DJ thing is about healing the world and making the world a better place. So I'm seeing a
yeah.
lot of nuances to this guy. So you're not just a regular artist or producer or DJ, like there's something different about you.
Yeah.
So tell us, your honorable fans, the origin story of Sasky Mali.
Yeah. Okay, so Sasky Mali, the name actually came in 2014, right?
Okay.
So I used to make music more like, I don't know, you know how we go to boarding school? It's even secondary school, we have like variety night, social night and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
singing, quote unquote,
Mhm.
came from that aspect. So I was in Blue House in my secondary school, and we always used to have like this Christmas carol, Easter, fiesta stuff, and
It's that fiesta.
usually, exactly, like usually when you're younger, unless you're very good, you don't really get opportunities, right? Because like SS2,
Everybody's
SS3.
vying for the position.
Exactly. So SS2, SS3, they're the ones that want to be at the forefront. So we didn't really used to bother, but like every year,
Mm-hmm.
every class, like just one, just two would have like a small concert. We pick a small class, the people that do music there. So from like just three, I used to be in those kind of stuff, right? Low key, just writing verses, chorus. So it was around SS2, it started to become prominent that, hey, this guy sings, he can write chorus.
Yes,
And
this
then
guy's
my friends used to rap and stuff. And then it was the first year of SS3. That was the year that my own set was going to hold down the Christmas carol, right? The first semester is usually September,
It's
and
usually
first
the SS.
September
Yeah,
to December.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that my performance, even like I had a very high pitch like verse.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people were like skeptical that it was gonna happen, even during rehearsals. Like other houses, because they give us the stage, blue house, red house, come and rehearse. And when I was doing my, like, people were telling me, oh, I'm looking to see, you know, your performance and stuff. So it was that day, and I took the mic and I just did my thing, and the whole hall was like, whoa, right?
You know,
Exactly.
it's funny because I had a similar experience in secondary school, but mine was dancing. So my best friend, her boyfriend, so we were in SS2 and he was in SS3, and obviously they're the ones organizing, right? So the SS3 guy was like, let's form a dance crew because we all like to dance. Let's form a dance crew. So we're dancing. Do you know we choreographed Wande Cole's entire Mushin to Mohit album? I know all the songs. Like, I can sing all the songs on that album because we have to choreograph the whole thing. Because the guy was like, we have to be prepared for any situation. They'll just call us up. So then he would, we could just randomly be chilling. And, you know, SS3 has a free period. And maybe at that time, SS2 will also have like a free period, or he will take excuse from like the teacher or something. And he'll come and call us from our class to come and perform for SS3 students. Like, it was so dramatic, but I mean, it makes a lot of sense that would be a situation, a condition that would give way to you discovering that, oh, this is something that I can do. Because I went ahead even in university and I was still dancing. I was dancing up until like the end of my year one. That's when like life started to hit. I was like,
it's very spot on, because singing was like SS2, SS3. Right, but from like just 3, I used to play this mouth organ, you know, harmonica, right?
Yeah, the harmonica.
I used to play it, and it was so crazy. Like, I would play some of the band songs, I would play some of their Moe songs, and my seniors would call me before like night prep, say, hey, yo, you must come to my class, come and play. So just 3, SS1, that was me. They'll just call me to their class before. If sometimes I'll actually spend prep there because I can't run back to my class. So they let me play. Say, yo, this guy. Once I play, once the teachers come around to make everywhere quiet, I'll just sit down in one locker, right? So that was interesting. But anyway,
that sounds awesome.
After that
sounds cool. Yeah, please go on. I want to get to 2014 where the Sasky Mali are there.
Exactly. So after that, I graduated, and I mean, I didn't make the best grades. My dad is always about, or was always about, like, you know, scoring the best grade. He didn't care about anything creative. Like, that was never on his plate. So I was just doing it because I knew I had passion for stuff like that, right? And when I got admission to my university, right? I went to Covenant. So when I got admission, I was like, you know what? I've probably made this man, you know, have a lot of heartache just because I haven't done so well, right? I haven't done so well with school. So I was like, you know what? When I get to university, I want to just lay low and not do music, and just like, because I mean, I didn't really see the perspective per se, right? Even though I knew that I had the passion. But like, starting to think about future and stuff, I'm like, okay, let me just focus. These people are going to spend a lot of money to send me to university, so let me just lay low, right? So that was the goal. I remember there was one very moment that really stuck to me, right?
All right.
So there was one moment that really stuck to me, right? So in my first year, I went back to school to get my certificate, right? My university and my secondary school, they're kind of like parent schools, right? So when I went back to get my certificate,
side by side,
I went to my chaplain's office, and it was a Christian school to start with. Right? So it was a Christian school. Yeah, it was a Christian school. So, you know how you have chaplains and everything's always about, like, you know, God stuff, right? I went to sign my certificate with my chaplain, and he looked at me and said, hey, musician, you're the one. I remember you sang in the carol. Make sure you keep it up. Yeah, that's what I said. He said, make sure you keep it up. Which school are you? I said, Covenant. Make sure you give them music in Covenant. And I was like, this man doesn't even know that I quit because I wanted to, like, try to get my grades up. Right? Wow. But that very moment was like, if someone like this, that should even be about
level of assurance.
Yeah, like I would have expected someone like that to say, you know what, when you get there, study your Bible. And like, the only thing he could see was he knew I was a musician. I was like, okay, this is interesting, right? But on my first year in university, no music. Second year, I picked up Fruity Loops. beat making software.
Yeah.
Right? So like, cause my guys that used to rap from secondary school, when they got to university, they all just plugged themselves into the music scene. But I was just like laid back. I was like, you know what? I just, so I picked up Fruity Loops like on and off. I wasn't really getting it right. So it's just like there. 2014 was when I had my IT. So I was an engineering student. So I did 5 years. So you know how like 1 year before you graduate, you do your IT. So IT was when I had time outside school, right? I had time outside school, and that really like changed my perspective. Like I got to see that, wait, hold on. Like the real world is not really about passing this course or passing that course. The real world is about what can you offer. And I was like, this tech thing, I don't know, this is not really me, right? It's something, but it's not really me. And I had to ask myself like, okay, what do you want to do in the future? What do you want to do if they wake you up when you're 70 years old and they say, hey, come and do this thing? What's that one thing that you would do with your mind and your soul, even if your body can't move? And I said, the only thing I can think about is music. And that was it. I was like, you know what? I have to decide what I want to do with this music, but I have to do it. Yeah. So my first studio session...
Your chaplain said you should do it, so like you had to obey the man, like you had to listen. So,
right? Yeah. I mean, he said it, so I mean, I had to stick to it, right? So yeah, so it was just so intriguing that my first studio session was in 2014, right? I and my boys, we found a studio in Unilag. We got to got that first-hand recording experience, and I was like, okay, like this is something I can do. And then I started to go more on trying to make a beat, trying to just get into the music scene. That was when I decided I was going to create a name, right? A name that would stand out. And my goal with the name were two things, right? I wanted something that would still relate to me, not something random. And I also wanted a name that I would be able to use, right, in the future and not feel like this name is mediocre, I have to change this name. So my surname is Osakwe, and from Osakwe, I was like, I shortened the S-A-K, I made it Sasky, right?
Damn.
And then from Sasky, I thought to myself, like, what could I use to relate to my style of music?
Hello, can you hear me? Please hold on.
Yeah.
I think I lost here. All the internet providers they're attacking us right now. Yeah, but let's keep going. So we stopped where you said you recorded your first session in the studio. Please continue from there.
Yeah. Okay. So I recorded my first session during my IT. So a friend of mine wanted to do a rap song and everything. So we're like, okay, yeah, and he knows I make music. We're kind of working our IT around the same area. So like we always used to roll together. So went to the studio session, they recorded. I just saw the whole process, and it was like a light bulb, like, yes, this is the one, like this is it.
It's a bridge between engineering and the music. It's like voila, it's like eureka. I can imagine like sparks would have been going off in your head, like
exactly.
I can do music and still make my father proud.
Exactly. So that was exactly it for me, right? So what happened from there was like I picked up Fruity Loops more seriously. I was just trying to make beats and just get to it. So when I knew that I was getting serious, I knew the next step was to have a name that would stick with me, a name that I would, would be with me for long. And my surname is Osakwe, right? And from Osakwe, I had S-A-K. Then I was like, okay, Sasky. I said, Sasky makes sense. I mean, if someone asked me, Sasky Osakwe, right? But I was like, Sasky is not just Sasky. Naruto, yeah, Sasky, it could be confusing.
Yeah.
So I was like, exactly. So I was like, I have this influence of like Fela, Bob Marley, because my style of music is more motivational, like you said, heal the world type of music. So I always wanted to project, and just coming from a Christian background, coming from a very conscious background, I was like, I've lived to a point where, I'm in university, I know right from wrong. Like what is good and what's not good. So I cannot start. If I started younger, I could have done many party music. But now I'm older, it's like okay, it has to be meaningful. So I was like, I said Mali, Sasky Mali. I was like, nah, that would be so proprietary and it might cause a lot of problems, or it might remove that ingenuity in the future, right? So I was like, why not connect it to something that relates to Africa, right? So that's when I was just checking around and I realized the country Mali is an African country, right? People know Mali as an African country. Anywhere I'll go in the world, people, like, once they see that name,
They would
they will
associate
first
you with
attribute
Africa.
it to Africa. Exactly. So that's why I say, you know what, the name is Sasky Mali. So anywhere,
Okay.
like, even when I told my friend, yo, what do you think about the Sasky Mali? Like, oh, nice. And so even if you notice, the colors of Mali are kind of like the reggae colors.
Exactly.
Right?
I was going
So
to say
it's-
that
so-
because
So it subconsciously, it was something that was supposed to feel like that in people's minds, right?
yeah,
So
I like
that
that.
was where the name.
I like how it's always there's still like a lot of play around it. Cause me, for example, the name I use for radio is different from the name my real name, right? And I don't
Yeah.
hide it. I made the decision when I started off working in radio when I was much younger, knowing that at some point of my life there's this other thing that I would like to do, and I want that to be associated with my real name. So when people Google my name, they're seeing that version of me, and they're not necessarily seeing the radio. The radio I am passionate about, but when they Google my name, that is what they're seeing. So I did. Now the thing about it is, unlike you, me, I was doing a lot of mathematics around. I did so many calculations, historical background, digging around to just arrive at Tyra. And it was so interesting because when I finally arrived after much research, I then found out that it was a very unique name. There was nobody else that was bearing the name. And when you mentioned Tyra and radio and Nigeria, it was like instantly everybody already knew who they were dealing with, and because of how unique it was, it kind of like helped me to trend set when I was just starting out, when I was working in radio in Lagos. And now we're here almost 10 years later, and I'm still doing this radio thing, and I'm very glad to be always have the opportunity to talk to like minds like you, because it makes me realize like we're all in this together, I'm not alone.
Exactly.
I'm
like
not alone.
10 years you mentioned is exactly it. Like last year was my official 10 years of saying I want to do this. Right?
Yeah, and
Exactly.
it's something to be proud of. It's something to like look back at and say, okay, you know what, I've lived this life, and I can always speak from experience. And I'm still young. Ask me how old I am.
Exactly.
And they're like, you did all this in this age. I'm like, yeah, actually, as a matter of fact, I did. All right, so let's talk a little bit more now about your creative culture, because I really appreciate the fact that, like you said, you incorporate your belief system, your faith, obviously, and your upbringing, which are very important. A lot of artists tend to backbench these things, right? A lot of creatives generally tend to backbench these things, going for more things, even though we've seen, for example, if you look at Wizkid will tell you that he started off singing the way he sings because it is how he identifies himself. That's who he is. A lot of people will say things like, oh, Wizkid, you're a big artist, you're supposed to be singing One Love, like Wizkid will tell you, me, I'm a lover boy and I'm a party guy. Like
exactly.
Adult. I'm not a child. I'm not a child of the world. I'm a child of God.
Yeah.
So this must reflect. It doesn't have to. I don't have to be like, oh, Jesus, or Jesus.
Yes.
But it like I must reflect this, and then I see that has also carried into the other things that you like, the general vibe that you give off, right? Because I'm here on your website, and it says your mission statement is to stay inspired. You're on a mission to heal the world one sound at a time. You strive to create profound impact on individuals, resonating with their emotions and uplifting their spirits. So tell us a little bit about that and the projects that you have worked on and you're currently working on as far as that is concerned.
Yeah. Okay. So after my university, right? My manager, he was from Ibutemeta. Like he stays in Ibutemeta, and I don't know if you know Costain. You know Costain? Do you know Costain?
I'm a Lagos
Yeah.
baby.
That's
I grew up in Lagos.
that's Ibutemeta. That's one, right? So it's hood, like it's hood, you know. So just finishing school, I went for my NYC. Like, okay, before I went to NYC, I was like, I want to learn studio stuff. So I was in the studio for like 5 months. I'm from like August to November, 2015. I just told my parents, say, hey, I want to learn studio stuff. So day in, day out, I was a studio rat. Cleaning, learning, whatever. I got grounded and then I went for NYC. In my NYC, instead of me to be doing just NYC stuff, I was actually relating with locals, and it was Jos. I went to Jos, right? Jos is a hip hop town.
Yes, it is.
So every nook and cranny, exactly. Every nook and cranny, you get people that just want to vibe. So I made a few close friends that made music, and the creativity carried on, right? Then I came back and I was like, I don't want to do that whole 9 to 5 life, especially not in Nigeria. I didn't have plans of traveling. I mean, I knew my brother did. I knew my parents would wish I would, but I wasn't waiting for them to say, oh, yeah, we're going to send you abroad or something. No, I was like, Dad, I'm done with my school. I'm done with NYC. I'm going to chase my music business. And I was like, how will you survive? I said, God provides. So like, okay, good. So I was like, okay. So he let me go, and I went to Lagos, Ibutemeta, with my manager. And I was there for about 2 years till I left to travel, right? I literally left the hood like 3-4 days before my flight to go study in Canada. Exactly.
To Toronto.
Exactly. So those 2 years really, really, really changed my life. It actually connected that passion to just impact people with the music. I always knew I was that kind of person, right? I'm always trying to be there for my guys and all that kind of stuff, But I needed the essence of the music to be real. I mean, coincidentally, Ibutemeta was where I had to stay. I had to. It's not like, I had options and I was like, no, I can stay here and there. Like, that was where I had to stay. But that now became the core of my motivational music, because I saw people. I saw what people were struggling with.
What the life was like.
That was the life. Like, you would see, I worked with a lot of talent, raw talents that they had their story going on. But when they come to the studio, 2 hours, 3 hours overnight, they leave you behind. Like, they leave you behind the door. So you feel that energy of, man, this is grind. Like this, like they come, sometimes they don't have money for studio session. They'll buy me food. They'll say, yo, Sasky, don't worry, I'll pay you. How much? 5K, 3K. Don't worry, I'll send it to you. When I go to work, I hustle small 2-3 days. I'll send you box. See, take chow, like eat, so that they'll buy fuel. It's not something you can really explain. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to live for people like this, right? People like me, because even me, it's not like, my dad had some millions and I say, okay, you know what? Take 500K, I'll be sending you money. I had to do studio stuff. I had to do other stuff to eat. Like, I purposely wasn't, because imagine telling your dad you want to make music and then you're calling him for weekly stipend.
Ask whether you're okay.
Yeah. So we had to just keep up the grind and make it work, and just being in that environment truly just elevated my spirit. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna work on my production so that I'll be so relevant in the music scene, but I won't have to always sing just anything to trend. Whenever I sing,
please continue. Yeah. Whenever you sing,
then go ahead. Yeah, so whenever I sing, it has to be meaningful. Yeah. So funny enough, because of back home, you know how it is. Like, over here, before you set up a crew, you need to have at least funds, or people that have funds that don't think about, when are we going to make money, right? That want to support you. But back home, it was like, yo, we're all eating together. We're all driving out together. We're all going to shows together. So anything anybody can do, we all bring it in. So I used to have a friend of mine that was a DJ. He would use my laptop to DJ when we're at the show, right? When I'm back home, I'm producing. So I always used to learn DJ stuff, right? I used to see all the tricks and schemes. And it wasn't until like last year, right? No, 2023. I was like, you know what? I turned on like one DJ software. I was like, man, this is cool. Like I was getting the hang of it. And by then I had done a lot of production stuff, like softwares and stuff. They're like my bread and butter, right? Like I wake up and I enter any software. So just seeing the DJ software, like this is it's not tricky.
It's not too far away from.
Exactly. And I was like, you know what? The goal has always been to be relevant in the music scene, just so that I don't get tempted to sing music just to trend or just to blow. Because I always want to preserve my artistry. Whenever I drop a song, it has to be authentic. It doesn't have to be the nicest sounding thing, but the truth has to be in it, right? So, and then even with production, like it's not every day you make a beat, it's not every day you get a song to mix. Like you even talk to some artists, sometimes they send you some songs and like, man, this song, I don't know how to mix it, you know. You get me? So I was like, okay, let's see. So I went on Facebook Market, I bought like a turntable. I said, let me see what's happening. Yo, moment I started to cue, and I was like, okay,
this is another one. This is another talent that God has given me. That's so cool.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we're fast running out of time. So tell me, what are you working on right now? What's something that we should be looking forward to as far as Sasky Mali is concerned? And for, like you said, you're working for the guys like, you know, like you, the guys from Meta who are looking to like create something that is authentic, that is real, that is original. How can they get to you? How can they reach out to you if people are trying to work with you?
Yeah, so my socials are there, Sasky Mali on Instagram, SASKYMALI, and my website as well, saskymalimusic.com. I have a booking link, so it could be anything. Anyone can set up a booking and respond, right? And then my phone number is also on my platform, and the things I'm working on. So I actually dropped a song. I dropped 2 songs in December. One, I actually featured 2 of my homies from the hood, from Ebute Meta. It's called Waiting They Happen, right? So
I know that one.
Yeah, I got them to express themselves, right? Like just talk about, but I also told them, let's make it clean, let's make it, something that, people will still, like the hood people will get inspired by. And then I dropped We Covered, right? That's the latest one. I dropped that one as well in December. And the video actually just dropped on Friday last week. Awesome. So the official video dropped on Friday. It's on YouTube as well. Yeah, it's on YouTube, and I've been working with I have a close circle here. I have like my digital creator and like artistic direction friend.
Yeah, which is the creative control. Which is the creative control team. Right?
Yeah, that's the team. So yeah, Cam is like the one that does most of my artworks, my visuals. He actually directed the video. He has an art show coming up on Saturday, right? That's where I'll be DJing as well. Right, so like with the DJ thing, I'm trying to be more conscious, like conscious events type stuff, not just club, but just conscious event type stuff. But musically, aside We Covered, I do have a track I'm preparing. It's more motivational as well on the hip hop side, and then I'm working on an EP called Ghetto Motivation. So I want to actually fully, not just like codedly, but fully brand that Ghetto Motivational theme from now. Exactly. Right. So it's supposed to be 3 tracks. 2 are mixed. I'm just working on the mix for the last one. It should be coming anywhere around, say, March, April, right? Okay. I have an album that I've been pushing because I just feel like maybe the time is not right yet, but I already tell you're going to be very busy this year. Like, since you have the EP coming early in the year, obviously they're going to have shows and then you have the album. It'd be good for you to drop the album just a little, not too far after you actually drop the EP, especially because you're a producer. I know how it is with you guys. You're always in the studio, so you can always create. So I'm sure you have a lot of songs and you just need to sort through the ones you want to put together. Exactly.
I mean, I would link everything. I will link your socials, I'll link your website, and I'll also link the video, right, that you mentioned, and people will be able to check it out in the description of this interview on YouTube, because this is on YouTube, right?
Perfect.
But in the meantime, because we have to wrap up now, thank you so
Yeah.
much, Sasky, for making time to talk with us. We have to have another conversation because we only have 30 minutes for the show. We have to have another conversation, and then we'll speak more about, most likely about creative control, right? Because I feel like that business part, we're still yet to like really touch on it, but it just makes sense that we need to get to know you first before we actually start to talk about like money and music business and money and music business, right? So thank you so much for being on the show. It's been awesome talking to you.
No, it's been a pleasure.
Take care of yourself.
It's been a pleasure. Have a good one. Yeah, bye. You too.